Welcome to the D&D Fitness Radio Podcast, brought to you by your hosts, Don Saladino from New York City and Derek Hansen from Vancouver, Canada. In episode 25, we speak with champion bodybuilder and rising star Calum Von Moger.
On the D&D Fitness Podcast with Derek Hansen and myself, and we have on right now Calum Von Moger, who, Calum, thanks for coming on, man.
For sure, no worries. It's glad you guys reached out, and I'm happy to talk to you guys today.
Amazing. So, listen, it's funny. I've been following you for years now. I mean, I think you moved to the States back in 2015, correct?
Yeah, end of 2014. Yeah, start of 2015. Yeah.
Awesome. And you almost, I remember I watched a big spread come out on you, and I was like, wow, this guy looks like Arnold. It was like, everyone immediately, from your physique.
Yeah. Was it the Muscular Development magazine?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Crazy.
I did a first photo shoot I'd ever done, and that was kind of back when they just sort of starting out, and a lot of people sort of had that Arnold kind of look, facial expressions or something. So
you even almost had like the Terminator glasses on, to the extent, if I recall correctly, you were wearing.
Yeah, I may have had some kind of some big shades on. So
I love it. But so you've had an interesting journey from bodybuilding to now. I feel like you've got a clothing line. You've developed an incredible web presence and an unbelievable social media presence. And now we're starting to see it come to the screen with this movie Bigger, where you're ironically playing Arnold Scharzenegger.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's been a full circle. So, but it's exciting.
So that was, I want to start with the movie a little bit. And then if it's cool, I'd love to get into the rehab, because you went through a couple injuries, but let's talk about the movie, since we just kind of dove right into that. So when did you get the call? Did you have to audition for this, or was this just something where they knew you were the guy?
Yeah, no, they reached out to me. I believe it was the start of, let me get this right. I think it was the beginning or the end of 2016, the start of 2017. I got an email and from Steve Jones, and he was very interested. He'd heard about me. He saw me, and he wanted me to make a kind of like a self-tape audition for it and send it in to him. Yeah, so I just went down to Santa Monica Pier, I pulled up some Arnold interview, an old school one, and I just kind of imitated the Oak in my own version on the Santa Monica Pier and sent that to him. And that was kind of it. That was what he wanted to hear or see. And then I got a meeting with him, and he showed me the idea what he was going for, for the movie Bigger. And then he said we would be shooting later in the year, around October. Yeah, sit tight, and then we'll get you in with some. We'll get you in, and we'll catch up then. And then I guess leading up to it, I had a dialect coach who would have to work with me a lot to get the accent, working on the accent.
I know Derek's excited about this right now, because right before we even got on, he's like, I wonder if he had to take voice lessons. And I'm like, well, let's ask him. I mean, are you going to give us a little teaser right now? Can you?
No, Derek, I'll get out of here. This is not possible. This is not okay.
That's unbelievable. That's
Awesome.
How long did that take you to get?
Honestly, it wasn't too long. There was a bit of work. There's some things I really did need to work on with the lines and stuff. But I'd grown up imitating him. I think it all kind of dropped an Arnold "I'll be back" line or something here and there. So it wasn't too hard. Yeah.
That had to be an incredible. I mean, listen, we were all influenced by him in some way.
Exactly. Yes.
Have you spent time talking to him about the project, like himself, and just?
No, I did get I did speak with Arnold in Ohio, the Arnold Classic, and he'd actually I was lucky enough to get in a lunch with him. And he said he'd seen it, and he said, you know what, he'd heard about it then. Sorry, forgive me. He'd heard about it then, and he gave me some good lines, and gave me some, he was very encouraging, And then it was later. It wasn't later till it's funny enough. My physical therapist, she actually told me that she'd watched it with Arnold, and Arnold had seen it and said that I did a great job. He was excited. He was really happy, and that he really liked it. And to me, that was all. That was like, okay, I can die a happy life. Happily.
It's gotta be a big thrill, man.
It was the biggest thing ever. It's one to the first ever role to play a movie, not let alone you're playing your idol, and to have him give me good feedback in return was extremely like relieving, because I was very nervous. I didn't want to I wanted to be the best it could be, and of course him to be satisfied. So which he was, and that was really rewarding to hear.
So I mean I couldn't even imagine. So you were in the movie Generation Iron 2. Back, what was that, 2017, I think?
Yeah, 2017, 16. Yeah,
16, 17. And was that the first time that you saw yourself really in a big production picture? Was that pretty much?
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, exactly. That was the first time I'd sort of seen myself in a bigger production and being more involved on screen and stuff. And which it wasn't too hard, because I played myself and it was kind of a documentary, so it was pretty easy just to follow along and that.
But I thought you guys did a great job with it. I mean, it really, I think it let everyone into your world on how you live. It definitely, the one thing that I've always liked a lot about you was how you keep it light. The bodybuilding world, it's as you know, it can get a little dark and dungeony, and
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think, that's just how I am. And, I've always been able to, I've always looked at a bodybuilding. It's a great activity. I've loved it and stuff, but I've never let it, I never really wanted to completely take over. And I just wanted people to see it. Hey, it's not it's something that you can enjoy and have fun with. I looked at Arnold and I saw the lifestyle he had and how he was very enjoyable and, and things. And I believe that that's a perfect way that you can still have an enthusiastic approach to living and doing other things other than just bodybuilding.
Right.
For sure, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant launch pad for Arnold. It was a brilliant launch pad for myself, and to use it as a career and things, and that's exactly what I've done. But yeah, I never wanted it to. I've got friends and people that I know and friends who are very, very highly hyper focused on their bodybuilding. That's their career. That's their life. They love it. They breathe it, and it's impressive. But for me, there is more to life, and there's more to what I have to give than just than maybe just winning a title or a trophy or something. I think there's a lot more to be done.
Well, I feel like you're on to different stuff now. Like there was a time in your life when you competed. You might compete, right?
Exactly. Yeah, where I dedicated and I loved it, and all I wanted to do was win the Mr. Universe or I was hyper. But every time after I got there, I was like, okay, what's next? What else can I do? When it's a priority, it's a huge priority, but it's not something that I feel the need to keep winning over and over again or keep doing over and over and again. It's like, okay, once I've done it, no, I'm happy with one time or whatever.
I think that's part of your proper popularity, is the relatability, where here's a guy that, looks like Arnold, but, you live like a normal person. You're not, you're jet skiing. You like to eat pizza and ice cream here and there, and I know, obviously when it's time to buckle down and get after it, you've got to dive and do your thing. But the reality is that you don't deprive yourself of certain things, and I think that's very refreshing for a lot of people out there trying to work on their physique. Can you talk about that a little bit? Has that always been your approach?
Yeah, of course, exactly. When it is time to, like, when I was competing and I was looking at and I was going for different titles, of course I would knuckle down and focus and I would be very dedicated to my training, nutrition, my rest, and my training. Everything would rotate around. The day would revolve around that. It was a priority, and I did sacrifice things. I would sacrifice trips, parties, events, all that sort of stuff. Didn't care, didn't think about it twice, because all that mattered to me at the time would be, winning the show. So I'll do what I take, and with the diet. But on the flip side, like once when I'm not competing in things, I love bodybuilding as a whole. I'll always do it, but not necessarily compete in it. Like, so if I'm not competing, I still want to be bodybuilding. It's just enjoyable for me. I like it, but not necessarily. But of course, have the freedom and be able to relax to go and smash a couple of In-N-Out burgers during the week, or go and hang out by the beach, or go out with my buddies, or go down to and have a few drinks or something. To have that flexibility, it's nice. Whereas I was for a long time stuck in this. I do know what it's like to be kind of dedicated to it. So yeah, it's nice to have that freedom. And also now I've also got my businesses as well, like with my clothing apparel line, my supplements, and my online training and members. The bodybuilding stuff, it complements all that really well. It's how I run my business and showcase myself and training through social media. I've put my body through all sorts of pressures, and I've pushed myself to the limit with it all, and it's paid off. So.
Well, you're in an incredible direction, and I know for a fact we're going to continue to see great things out of you. I want to move on now to, if you don't mind, a couple of the injuries. You had an injury, I think, back in a bicep injury back in 2017.
Yeah. That was straight after the filming for Bigger. I'd spent a couple months getting ready for the role to play a young Arnold. So I was around 250 pounds. Was very big, and I just finished a lot of traveling. I'd finished filming, traveling, expos, all this training, and I came back. I was in the gym, and my buddy from Canada, Chris Bumstead, who's going for the Classic Olympia this year, he was in town, and my stupid idea, I told him, I said, hey, let's do this huge bicep curl with 4 plates on each end.
Oh, God.
And we'll curl it up. I thought it'd be a great idea. So, I'd done it before. A year ago, I'd actually done this with another friend from Canada, Antoine, and we'd done Canadians. This. Yeah, I know. Jesus, they just they know how to. They're out there. They're teaming up against me. No, they I did it with Anton a year ago, and it was fine. I did the whole, we curled it, and I think it was just a freak out. It was just a freak. It was just unlucky. We were probably a bit different height match, and my bicep just said, nope, sorry, catch you later. Just fucking ripped off the bone, and that was it. So that was the first big setback. But it didn't it didn't slow me down from the gym. Like, I was in the gym doing legs 3 times a week. I was doing the right hand side of my body, and just doing whatever I could to stay in shape and grow my legs, because I was like, this is not going to slow me down. And then I'd go back, and like 10 days later, I was flying back to Australia. I had a Christmas with my family. I remember I was in Bali. I'm not sure if you can see that picture. It was taken in Bali, my little display picture. And I went surfing. So that picture there was that was like 4 weeks after the surgery or something, almost 3 weeks after the surgery. So, I didn't really let it slow me down too much. And then I was good. I did all the physical therapy, January, February, March, 4 months of physical therapy, got back. I was getting back in shape. I was getting my strength back. And then I got myself into some mischief. And
with that one, with the bicep, did you find there were any issues with like regaining hypertrophy or size on that arm because of that? Not too. It wasn't too bad. I did lose a bit of size at the start, of course, which is normal. I wasn't using it for over a month. 4 weeks it was in a sling. However, once I started the physical therapy and I was able to use the blood flow restriction, I was able to. The blood flow restriction is a really useful tool for getting a metabolic pump in your arm. So you're going through the resistance of lifting weights, but without the weights. It's all blood flow. It's like we're getting a pump without needing to move the weight. So that was really helpful, and just because, and also I guess because I had the muscle memory and stuff, and I've been there it was just it was a pretty steady comeback. So, you know, and I almost had it. I almost had it back to it was looking pretty good right before I hurt my leg.
And that was just to explain to people, you were rappelling down a rock wall.
Yeah.
And your knee just went down on you. And
exactly. Yeah. It was you know, and it was my fault again. Like I was trying something. I can't have this thing. Like, you know, I don't want to have a fear of trying things, trying new things like that. And my older brother, who was trained and educated and all that stuff in doing that, he had invited me along. I hadn't seen him for a long time. Come and do this activity with me and rappel off the wall. And I didn't want to chicken out. That's my older brother. So, you know, I said, yeah, sure, no worries. And I just wasn't confident in what I was doing. And the line slipped, the rope slipped through the little lock, the carabiner, and I went head over heel, head over toes, and my leg was stuck in the rock, and it just hyperflexion, and then I heard it pop. And that was that was the most. That was rough. So, and that's, you know, that's right when you think, you know, everything's going to be, you know, I'm on the mend, and then, you know, that's another huge setback. Plus, I re-tore my bicep, so I'm due to go into my third surgery right after the Olympia this year.
Oh man, and listen, we know you're going to fight back. If there's someone who can do it, it's definitely you. Could you, because I know we only have a few more minutes, could you explain your rehab process? What's that been for you? What also, I mean, listen, we've all been injured now, and you realize when you go as a young kid where that feels like they're indestructible and things starts happening to the body, you realize, all right, this is real. I don't want this to happen again. It's a pretty feeling, but could you talk about your rehab process, what that actually taught you? I mean, I saw one great post after you went dark on the internet for a few weeks, and you came back thanking all your fans, and you were really very humble and very grateful by that. But how's this changed your thought process, and what were some of the tactics that they used to help get you rehabbed?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing for me, after like that, like it was the hardest to accept, because literally I couldn't. I was now forced completely out of the gym, and it was a long, and I think I wouldn't be able to train for who knows how long properly. Who knows how long I'll be completely out of the gym for with my leg and stuff. But I think the hardest, it took a few weeks just to kind of accept the circumstances, and that was the hardest thing. Was like, not knowing the recovery, not knowing what to expect, not just all the unsures, all the uncertainties. And I think I just needed a bit of time to kind of sit back and just kind of reflect and just accept everything that had happened and kind of get my head in the right place, and then move forward from there. And, sometimes you just need to, I just needed a bit of time to myself to get my head around that. And then, of course, in that time I had the huge amount of support and messages and emails from friends and family and fans, and it was like overwhelmingly nice, and it was just it was extremely uplifting. And so that was a huge boost for me to keep going. So, and especially because after I got so far, it's like, this is there's no way I can stop now. So it just really helped with my mindset, to have a lot of support and stuff, and also for myself to tell myself to say, hey, it's not over. You can keep going. And there's always going to be, it may be that it's, maybe it's God telling me that I'm not supposed to be doing bodybuilding for this year. Maybe there's another direction I'm supposed to be going down. The water always finds its destination, whether it goes around the rocks, down. There's always I look at it like a river. Like you put water down, it's always got a destination, and it'll find the lowest way. It'll go whichever way it goes, but it's always going to get to the ocean. So it just might be that I've got a different path now. I don't know if I'm going off the topic here.
No. Perfect.
Yeah. So it's definitely, but with the training and things and the physical therapy, I'm going 3 times a week now, because ultimately, so this year, I for anyone else who's in this position, anyone out there who's had a major setback, who's had a surgery, who's literally going through some kind of a trial or a hardship right now, you know, I think if I can shed any light on it, I think the best thing is you just got to get your head around and kind of accept what's going on, and kind of and get your head in a good place, and then kind of just set up yourself for what you, instead of thinking about what you can't do, focus on what you can do and what changes you can make and where you can still improve yourself or make yourself better each day. So for me, right now, I'm going to physical therapy 3 times a week. I go from 10:30 till 1 o'clock, so 2.5 hours 3 times a week. And they work on my knee. They do a lot. I'm doing a lot of strengthening, blood flow restriction.
Any electrical stimulation as part of that?
Yeah, and definitely. Yeah, I've got the electrical stimulation, the Russian stim. So I have those working at the same time to help activate and turn on the muscle. Because it was I didn't use it at all for so long, and honestly the physical therapy has been extremely necessary and helpful. I would highly recommend it if you have any kind of injury like this to go. Make sure you go to a good, reputable clinic, because I went to other places and it was all right, but I feel like there are good places and there are places that aren't so good. So definitely go to somewhere where they're going to give you attention and give you the right equipment and tools and time and patience and stuff that you can work with and focus on that. I had a blood clot as well in my leg. I still have it. It's almost, I think it's like 50% dissolved. So that was a setback too with the blood flow. I had to be patient. But you know, if you can get into some blood flow restriction and stuff early on, that's helpful. And I'm going to continue this. So I've accepted that 2019 for the rest, 18 this year, you know, it's a kind of a write-off in terms of bodybuilding. It's just now focused on getting my body back, you know, able-bodied and rebuilding myself so that I can train and hopefully just get back to some normal kind of workouts in 2019.
Awesome attitude to have. I mean, just before we end up wrapping up, I mean, did you take anything out of the physical therapy? I mean, you come from the bodybuilding world, and I've seen with athletes, Derek and I are, you know, strength and conditioning coaches, and you see when athletes get hurt, you know, they really start finding out things about their body that they didn't know. Are there some positive takeaways? I think from a training standpoint that you might carry over into 2019, is there something that you might do a little bit differently, or you haven't thought about that yet?
You know what? I'm looking at how actually in my position, training, you know, how the blood flow works and the Russian stim and activating muscles and how they're able to rehabilitate, you know, injured people without using as much weight and all these sort of using bands in their training. I use a lot of bands in the exercise I do, a lot of body weight stuff, higher repetitions, low rest. So I'm looking at the type of the therapy that I'm doing now and how I could apply that to my bodybuilding training, and how I probably most likely will, you know, roll this over. So once I'm done, you know, when I get back into the gym, how I will probably use these same sort of techniques from physical therapy, you know, doing like 30 reps and then 15, low rest with bands and pre-exhaustion and those sort of things. I'm just going to look at techniques where I can utilize training without using a lot of weight and just using more bands and body weight and stuff like that, just so it's less because obviously less likely for injury and things. So just preventative ways, you know, warming up, cooling down, stretching, icing, all these techniques are definitely things that I've learned a lot from the physical therapy that I would like to continue on to and bring into my own routine that I haven't utilized as much. Yeah.
Does it make you a little gun shy about choosing recreational activities as a side thing, like moving forward, or are you just going to jump back on the horse and just live your life as you did before?
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Some things, yeah, like if I get asked to do something that I have no idea, I'm not sure what I'm doing, then I'm going to say no, or train me first. You know, if it's like an activity that I'm unaware, like I'm not sure about. But in terms of other things, like I'm already back on my V-rods, my Harley Davidsons, and as soon as I could get enough bend in that knee, I was back on that bike doing skids down the road and stuff. So, you know, it doesn't stop me from being a little rascal. You know, I'm still going to go out and do what I do for sure, you know, definitely. But in terms of things like it does give me a risk assessment, a lot more risk assessment towards things that I'm not sure about. But where I'm confident, I'll get back in doing those sort of things. I won't let this slow me down.
So no more backflips off of bridges, right?
Oh no! As soon as I can do a backflip off a bridge, I'll be back doing them.
Call me up. I will come join you for that one.
Sorry, Edwin. Sorry.
That's right up my alley, man. Give me a call for that one. I will
just
join.
Just be careful, because Don and I were talking to a stunt guy, and he's like, when you get into the acting realm, like, let the stuntman do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Otherwise, Otherwise, I won't be much use for an actor. I'll be a stunt. Maybe I should be a stunt dude.
It's funny. I work with Ryan Reynolds. He's just in Deadpool. He's been one of my guys for almost 10 years, and Ryan does a lot of his own stunts. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's coming in, beat up and this and that. People don't realize that he does his own stunts. I'm like, you can get someone to do that, and he's like, yeah, it just doesn't look real. And I'm like, okay.
I feel him. I feel it. I reckon that's cool if they can do their own stunts. Like, means they got a bit of balls. They got some bollocks. They're afraid to fucking have a go. Good on them.
I love it. So listen, last question, because you've been great with your time, and thank you so much.
No worries.
What are you going to do with your physique now? I mean, I heard you're going to maybe focus on getting a little bit smaller, or are you going to continue to be the same build that you're going to be, that you've always been moving forward? I mean, do you have any idea where you want to go, or are you just going to kind of take it as it comes and see?
Yeah, exactly. Like, obviously, I'm a lot smaller now without choice. It's just, I lost a lot of size from my injury, and I think I dropped like 30 something, almost 40 pounds. So I haven't been this small since I almost kind of when I was getting into lifting in my early years. But right now, honestly, I'm moving towards, I'm doing a lot more acting classes, and I want to explore that industry as well. So, and I know that being a little bit smaller is probably better. You get probably there's a broader range of roles, but I do want to get back some size. I would like to I like being around 235, 240 pounds is a weight that I like being at. So, but I'm just going to take it as it comes, like you said, and not like I said, my first goal is to get better and to get back to the gym as soon as I can training. And then from there, if I'm gonna be looking at possibly competing in the future, but more focused on the acting. And if I can put my time and efforts into that, I will do that. If there's a chance that I can compete, if I have a period of time where I could dedicate some focus to doing a show, whether it be, and I'd love to do an Arnold Classic or something, maybe one year. If I can do that, I will too. So.
That's unbelievable. That was about Arnold's weight, right? 235 when he was.
I think so. Yeah, when he was in his prime. Yeah, and when he was looking good and stuff. So that would be a nice weight. Get back up to there.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, we wish you all the luck. Can you tell all of our listeners the name of your clothing line, where they can find you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Thank you very much to everybody for listening. I'm really, really glad I could speak out today. I haven't really talked much about this recently, so thanks for tuning in. I've got my premium apparel lines, just vonmoger.com, and also I have my supplements from staunchnation.com. So check them out, and if you're interested in any online coaching, online training with me, my membership site's calumvonmoger.com. So thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Listen, brother, and then if you're ever out in New York City, I'd love you to come by my gym, Drive 495 in downtown Soho. It'd be great.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely. I'll talk to Edwin. I've been meaning to get out there, so once I get back out there, we should tee it up.
Love to, man. Love to. And Derek, thanks you as well. He's up in Canada. I don't know if you're ever going to be up there.
Stay away from Canadians, man. Not good.
Nah, good. Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Don. Really appreciate your time today, too. And it's great meeting and chatting to you guys.
Great. All right. Thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers. Bye now.
Bye-bye.